We are going to go back in time and talk about the Palace game first and foremost. We'll start off with you, Kate. Do you think that Palace game was an improvement from prior displays and the form that we've been on?
I'd love to sit here and say yeah, but no, not really. I thought the 75 minutes were diabolical for the most part. Some good movement from Timo Werner. I know he missed the one-on-one with the keeper, which had me pulling my hair out at the time, but... he did do some good movement, which was good to see. Brennan Johnson came off the bench, thought he was brilliant when he came on. We saw that he can take on a man, made all the difference when he came on the pitch. But overall, the performance I thought was massively disappointing. The only good thing to take from it really is the heart that we've got in the team, where we don't capitulate and roll over and say, that's it, game over. We fought till the end and we got a victory. So in that respect, we've got to be happy. But yeah, the performance for me was still lackluster for the most part, unfortunately.
I mean... I did think it was an improvement, in my opinion. I feel like it's the game that we kind of controlled for 90 minutes, where maybe we haven't done in previous weeks. But I agree with you in terms of we didn't create enough during those 70 minutes. That's definitely true. But in terms of you, Amir, what's your thoughts?
I'd have to wholeheartedly disagree with Kate there. I think there's a lot of positive signs to take from that game. And you know, in actual fact, I think we created, if you're looking back at some of the other games that we've had, we created a lot more here than we did in those games, which, you know, we had some big chances. You're looking at Werner. You're looking at Johnson's one that he missed. That's another huge one.
Sonny as well hit the post. Yeah,
Sonny hitting the post. Yeah, exactly. So for me, we're not quite there yet, and I understand, Kate, your frustration in you know, some of what I call the horseshoe football that was going on in that first half, which I don't like to see, and I think which unfortunately I'm going to mention them, but those lot across the road kind of showed us how to do it the other night, didn't they? Really. And you know, when you're seeing performances like that, I can understand when we're looking at the differences that there are there between, you know, those top three sides to how we're performing. There is a gap there, right? But I think we're showing good signs of improvement. I'm happy with the result at the end of the day, and I think, you know, whenever you go a goal back, you're looking for a response, and you know, to get three. And to actually relax for the last 5 minutes of a game, it's kind of like beautiful. Really.
Yeah. I mean, do you think the narrative changes on that game if maybe we got those 3 goals in the first 10 minutes instead of like the last 20 minutes kind of thing?
Yeah, it's possible. It could be a different game as well. You know, you might have seen Spurs then put them to the sword. But you know, Timo missed his chance, and that's another, you know, huge positive. He didn't let that get his head down, did he? And he got on the score sheet, got his first goal for Spurs. And Kate, like you mentioned, I thought Johnson, right, that kid, he deserves the world of praise. That pressing, you know, the way he found Werner as well, I think fantastic. And you know, you're looking at the kid, and you're saying, does he have the mentality for it? Can he make the step up from Forest? And to come and miss that chance that he did, I was fuming, right? That to me, you know, needs to be in the back of the net every day of the week. And he missed it. And then to come back and do what he did, phenomenal. So a lot of positives to take from the Palace performance. And I'm happy with the 3 points at the end of the day.
I think, what you're saying on Timo, I think Timo had a really good game, probably his best game in a Spurs shirt throughout the 90 minutes. Even if you take that miss out of it, he did look like the most dangerous out of the front three in that first half as well. But I think, you know, sometimes his final product can be much to be desired for, let's just put it that way. But Sim, what was your take on the game? Do you think it was an improvement?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. I did think... in terms of just to answer the question directly, yes, it was an improvement, I thought, in general from the game against Wolves last time out, and maybe in terms of just in general some of our home performances, I did think it was an improvement in terms of our general control of the game. You look back to games against Brentford, against Wolves, what other home games we had against Brighton, you just look at the chances we conceded in those games, where it was nowhere near the level of chances conceded in this game. So albeit you have to caveat that by saying we're playing against Palace, who only really had Eze, who could only last 65 minutes. Other than that, they didn't really have any other threats, whereas you look at Wolves and Brighton and Brentford, Brentford, they've got a lot more in their armoury at the moment in the forward line. So maybe it's no surprise we struggled more to contain those teams than we did Palace. But the reality is we did contain Palace a lot more easily than we did those teams. So that is a step in the right direction when it comes to how we were defending. But I do think the first half was disappointing. I do think that we struggled badly for the first 45 minutes. We literally had one chance. We had one chance with Werner, and then we had a good build-up play where Emerson got on the right-hand side, played the ball across the face of goal, and Son couldn't quite tap it home. Apart from that, we literally barely had an attempt. On the flip side, neither did Palace, but when we're on the front foot, especially in the first half, where we should really be coming out, forcing the issue and trying to at least take a few shots and trying to ask different questions of Palace, I thought we didn't ask enough questions of them, and it was way too easy for Palace to contain us in that first half. But I do think, in general, the whole second half was really good. I actually thought Palace scored against run of play. We created a few chances before Palace scored their goal. Sonny hit the post. I think Werner had a good chance as well, which forced a save out of Johnston. And then when Palace scored, it really was against run of play. But considering how difficult it had been before Palace scored for us to break them down, I was definitely concerned because we hadn't really created too many glaring opportunities throughout the game. And now we've got to get 2 goals and not just 1 goal. And, you start to get worried. And as well, the goal as well, looking at the free kick, it was a disappointing goal all round. I thought, obviously, Bentancur brought Eze down when he was gaining some momentum. And then, obviously, the free kick, it was a great free kick, don't get me wrong, but I do think Vicario read the situation wrong. I thought it was really obvious that that the free kick was on goalkeeper's side, considering the wall that Palace put up. They put the ball up to block Vicario's views. Vicario should really have taken that as a signal. Eze's probably going to shoot this my side, and he didn't quite cotton on to that. And he took one step to the right, and that was enough for Eze just to find the corner on his side. So that was a bit disappointing. But the way we responded to the goal was really, really positive. Obviously, Johnson came on, has one big chance, plays over the bar, and then obviously we end up getting 3 goals right at the end and taking 3 points. So I thought that second half was probably the best we've played consistently for a whole half in a while. But I thought the first half still not a massive improvement for how we've played recently in terms of just struggling to break the opposition down, not creating enough chances. So I'm a bit in between. I thought it was an improvement. I don't think it was a massive improvement, but I definitely think it was a step in the right direction.
You know what it was for me? I've just seen Spurs just be so open at the back, week in, week out, no matter who it's against. We went to, me and you, Amir, we went up to Goodison together, didn't we? And we just came under pressure in so many periods of that game, whether it be set pieces or counter-attacks or whatever.
We looked like conceding.
Every time they came forward, Everton, we looked like conceding 100%. And I felt like in this game, Mickey van der Ven and Coutinho Romero are so strong at the back. Emerson came in, did a really good job for us at right back in terms of defensive performance. Udogie, nothing got past him on the day. But I think what the real difference in terms from a defensive display it was for me was Yves Bissouma. Because I feel like Yves Bissouma had his best game probably since the first 10 games of the season for me. And it's no surprise to me that he has a good game and we completely dominated that midfield and probably the best game in terms of dominating a midfield in a long time. So I've been saying it for a while. We need Yves Bissouma to get back to these levels on a consistent basis. And I felt like nothing got past him the whole day. He dominated that midfield. And in the second half, he became that driving force to drive us forward through the midfield as well. So that's what was really good for me. And yes, we didn't create enough in the first half, but that did come in the second half. And that's going to happen against a team that sits a low block, a bank of 5 at the back, in front of them a bank of 4. So it's going to take a bit of patience sometimes to break down these teams, and I think that's what we did. We showed that patience and we broke that wall down finally. So I don't know how you're feeling, Kate, about that defensive display, because we haven't seen anything like that for a while, because every single team that we play against, we seem to just be so open at the back. One ball down the middle seems to open us up, but that didn't happen on the weekend.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I thought Emerson Royale, actually, he's not my favourite player by a long shot, but I thought he did very well when he was called upon. Van der Ven is just an absolute Rolls Royce for me. He's probably one of the greatest signings we've made at the club for years and years. I just think he is incredible. And I thought Romero looked calm. He hasn't had a booking in 2024, which is a good thing. And I had full faith in the back four at the weekend, which I haven't had of recent. So yeah, in that respect, that was a massive positive. But let's hope it continues.
Amir, do you think that was a really good display from like the defensive players, or do you think that just Palace just didn't offer much, and maybe I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself?
No, I don't think you're getting ahead of yourself, but for it to be nailed on, you need to see consistency there, and that's what we haven't seen. It was a big improvement for sure, and obviously, having Udogie, sorry, it's a huge difference. And Royale coming in, he stepped up, he done well defensively, and I think his awareness for the throw-in as well for the second goal was phenomenal. Right, that's basically like. They call it the pre-assist, so that was really clever as well. There are many, many positives to take. I completely agree with you, Kate, on VDV. I think we've got a world-class player in the making there. Romero, absolutely fantastic. They just got to show it week in, week out. And Ben, I have to agree with you about Bissouma, right? You're looking at that position and how important it is in modern day football. The best teams in the world that have gone on to win huge things, they've had the best of the best in those positions. Your likes of Rodri, Busquets, those kind of guys that sit there and break up the play. So if Eves can step up for the rest of the season and really come into his own in that position and put his foot down on that position and say, that's mine, no one's taking me out of there, I think it will be fantastic for the club, and we'll all benefit from it, and the defence will benefit from that hugely. So looking forward to seeing how it goes for Eves, and I'm glad to see him getting back to form.
Yeah, because we haven't seen this from him in a while. His confidence took a real knock, didn't it, when he got those sendings off? And
it was so silly.
It was so silly. It was so silly. But, once you make an action that's detrimental to the team, those two sendings off, that mistake at Manchester City, you need to respond with good form. Otherwise, what he's done since then has been nothing short of shocking, to be honest. But it's good to see him. I thought it was a slight improvement last game, but this game he was back at it. Still maybe not to those levels that we saw in those first 10 games of the season, but definitely a step in the right direction is what I would say.